Alex, an article about you ran in the Jewish Journal 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago. The title was, Newburyport Synagogue Grows Its Rabbi from Within. And the title is a little bit of a joke because you and your wife are farmers. You grew up Orthodox, kind of left Judaism, became a farmer. Your wife still runs a farm. But the plan was for you to stop farming and work at the congregation as the spiritual leader while studying to become a rabbi. So the congregation was growing you like a crop. So following that analogy, that makes today Harvest Day. Mazel tov. I want to say, Alex, you've been all in. Some people who had relatively full-time jobs and live an hour away would have tried to find every excuse not to be present at school. At the beginning of the semester, you were a little unhappy with me in a very kind way because I had been dithering about whether Shana Hay classes should be on 2 days or crammed together on 1 day. And that I decided 1 day, and I was surprised you were unhappy. And said to you, I saved you a huge commute. And you said, no, you wanted 2 days. Dafka, so you would be forced to be here. You were all in. You wanted to be here. That was deeply noted and appreciated. During your closing conversation, you spoke of your journey from SAR, the Orthodox day school, to effectively leaving Judaism for a little while and then coming back after meeting your partner, which ultimately led you to Hebrew college. And you said, for a while I was doing nothing Jewishly. I mean, I wore tzitzit every day and kept kashrut, but really nothing. I noted that wearing tzitzit every day and did not sound like for some people that would be kind of a thick Jewish observance. You said quite beautifully that served as your anchor even when you felt distant from the rest of your Jewish life. What followed in your closing conversation was a discussion of all or nothingness. How you have tried to shed that binary. You wrote a paper for me on the conservative movement's seminal tshuva about driving on Shabbos, and you noted there the many problems of the binary thinking that was exhibited there. Your time at Hebrew college, you said, and I truly loved what you said, your time at Hebrew college, you said, has been about trying to lead a Jewish life that is not all or nothing, but is about learning to be generative in the in-between. I'm not sure I've heard a better tagline for what I think so many of us are trying to do, but be generative in the in-between. I'm definitely not a farmer, but our ancestors were, of course. The text you brought us from your closing conversation was a commentary on Leviticus. It's a fascinating text that undoes a lot of what we think about for the halacha about whether you can say the blessing on counting the Omer. The text said that you brought us that even if you forgot a day, you forgot all the days but only remembered the last day, you still should say the bracha. The text specifically uses the metaphor of farming to say, when you remember to say that bracha and you come back, you can harvest new grain to bring to God. Alex, you kind of strayed from Judaism, Peace Corps, farming. The mystic might argue that you were always on the path you needed to be on. But nonetheless, you've come back to Judaism at just the right time to be harvested today as new grain for Hashem. We asked Jackson Mercer to come forward to be given his bracha by Rabbi Jordan Schuster and for me to put on his towels.
Jackson, you arrived at Hebrew College 6 years ago as a kind of philosopher of space. In your admissions essay, you wrote, "To be a rabbi is to build space." You imagined that through melody, harmony, liturgy, and image, a rabbi can help their community build out the walls, the foundation, the furniture of sanctuary. You also noted that, quote, "the negative spaces we create for our sanctuaries are the moments of silence, after the group holds out a note and inhales. Through tone and rest, a sense of refuge spans out around us and embraces us." Since reading your admission essay, I've been secretly tracking the way in which you've continued to articulate the work of a rabbi through the language of architecture. As such, I have noticed the way in which the positive and negative spaces you see yourself building as a rabbi have come to include much more than just music. In your closing conversation, you shared with faculty, aligned by the poet Muriel Rukeyser, "The universe is built of stories, not atoms." What I heard you intimating with this quote, Jackson, is the way the walls of melody you once imagined yourself building as a rabbi have begun to also stream with narrative. The historical narratives of our ancestors, the mythic narratives of our Torah, the communal narratives we bear together, the individual narratives we each elaborate over the course of our lifetime. As you grieved in your closing conversation as well, so many of our narratives get lost. You summon the historical example of 13th century France, when over 12,000 Jewish manuscripts were burned and the Maharal lamented, "Hayesh Torah Chadasha?" Will there ever be a Torah to replace the ones we have lost? You cited the more immediate examples of Leah and Jill, of how we lost them, the narrative and music of their lives, the Torah they had yet to create. These losses comprise a different kind of negative space, a different kind of silence to our sanctuary. And our job, you taught the faculty, is not to fill these silences up, is not to cover over or suppress these painful absences. Rather, our job is to include our grief within the shape of our narrative, our song, our space. In her commencement address to the Harvard Graduate School of Architecture in 2020, Jenny Odell wrote, "The role of the architect is as an orchestrator of attention, someone who can see in multiple time frames at once and create the lenses with which we can behold all the details that unfold from reality if we just give ourselves time to see it." Jackson, as an architect of space, which is also to say as a rabbi, you are an orchestrator of attention. You help us attend to the positive and negative spaces, the music and the silence, the narrative and the absence of who we are, of who we've been, of what we've lost, of what we still have yet to praise. You give us the courage to sing our stories. You help us design them into a philosophy of space and a poetics of time. Jackson, may you continue to build. May you continue to help us build and build and build.
call Josh Schreiber Shalem forward and ask Rabbi Alan Lehman to give his blessing and Rabbi Nehemiah Poland to put on his talis.
Rabbi Josh, take a moment to feel the ground. Notice the sounds around you. And let your breath, the physical experience of breathing, reset you to a settled place. Josh, you bring your journey and your story with you to this place and to this moment. Your early life in Israel on Kibbutz Hefziba, famous for the Beit Alpha mosaic. Your musical talent and passion. You're my only student who plays viola da gamba. I should have said you're the best viola da gamba player of all my students. And your many years as a teacher of the Feldenkrais method of somatic education, exploring Jewish spirituality and embodiment, you bring all of that with you as you've explored each day, each hour of your learning. Now, Josh, I may love music, even the 17th century pieces that your band plays, but I play no instrument. I may even have been a kibbutz volunteer a long time ago, but I was never a kibbutznik. And I certainly, no one would accuse me of being an adept at bodywork. But we do really share something significant in our background. Chavurat Shalom, the funky, traditional, progressive, low church, and now for many years, feminist shtibel in Somerville, the mother of the egalitarian minyanim, was my home before I started rabbinical school, as it has long been yours. The egalitarianism, the democracy, the ethos of our chavura is deeply challenged in this era. We struggle to find ways of leadership and charismatic inspiration as we aspire to horizontal community. Josh, my challenge that I believe you share is how, when being shaped by that model, do we move from the student Bet Midrash to come to where the Chalukah de Rabbanan, this rabbi's talus that you have received. So in finding words to share with you from that place, I'm looking into Parashat Behalotcha, the coming week's Torah reading, and I think I found some brachot we can share. Pesach Sheni, the second Passover offering for those who couldn't do the first. Sometimes there are second chances. The departure of Chovav, Moshe's father-in-law. Sometimes we want our mentors Sometimes we have to go forward without them. The mitzvah to take shtei chatzotzrot kesef, 2 silver trumpets, okay, nothing about violas da gamba, and to sound them at the right times. Sometimes we have to make beautiful music, and sometimes in assembly, in danger, and in joy, you have to toot your own horn. Moshe's being told to assemble shiv'im, 70 elders, a community of support. Sometimes, maybe always, we need others. We can't do it alone. Eldad and Medad, 2 additional ecstatic prophets outside the tent. Sometimes sacred teachings come from unexpected places. And Vayehi bin Soa ha'aron vayomer Moshe kuma Adonai vayafutzu eivecha v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha uvenucho yomar Shuva Adonai Rivavot Alfei Yisrael. The mysterious 85 letters enclosed in upside-down nuns that tell us what Moses would sing when the ark would go on the move and when it came to rest. And this is called by ancient tradition the book of those additional ecstatic prophets, Eldad and Medad. You have learned the movements and connections in your body and in rest. You know how to notice the effects of those learned movements. Sometimes, bin soa ha'aron, we are on the move in our journey. Sometimes, uvenucho yomar, we come to rest. And both of those are sacred moments. Rabbi Josh, may your heart, your body, and your mind be open to these and so many more blessings. Heye bracha, may you be a blessing.
We ask Jenna Shaw to come forward and Rabbi Jane Kamak to put on their talis. Jenna, on my phone, there's a video that Gita sent me of you, my dog Noga, and her children. You took the job of watching Noga when I went to Israel, and I had explained to you that the joke in our house was that when we would speak in the voice of our dog, we imagined her as a right-wing fanatic trapped in a house with liberal Jews. And you amazingly played along, sending me a picture of you and Noga watching Rachel Maddow with the caption from Noga, "Please pick me up immediately. I'm being tortured." The video is from when you took Noga to Gita's house to entertain her, 3 very young, very energetic children. Gita is saying in the video, "Here is Noga playing with my kids." The video is actually not Noga playing with my kids. It's you chasing the kids around, excitedly playing with them, running around. And you can hear my dog saying, "What's up with that human? They have so much energy." A little while ago, a prospective employer called me and they asked me, "So Jenna's enthusiasm, is that real?" I said, "Ask my dog." No. I said that your enthusiasm, your positivity, your kindness, your desire to teach teens and kids, it's more than real. Anyone, Jenna, with your level of infectious energy would be special, but what I think will make you such a wonderful rabbi is that all of this energy somehow feels so deeply connective. Some people will have a lot of energy, they can feel disconnected, it feels like they're doing lots of different things. Being with you, one feels your full presence. All of that energy is directed at the person you are with. You will be such a gift to people in need who will feel in your presence such positive, caring energy. I had 2 different thoughts when I saw that I was to give you your blessing. One was honor. The other was, oy. I have to say something Jewish about baseball. Despite praying with you to a baseball Amidah, reading your history paper on Jewish immigrants and baseball, going down my own little rabbit hole of Sandy Koufax's research, which included reading an article from the Journal of Baseball Research that studied the statistics of 16 Jewish baseball players who played on Yom Kippur and what happened to them. Yeah, they did fine, unpunished by Hashem, by the way. And hearing from Sharon that Sharon told me 2 days ago that you tried to convince Bob Kraft that baseball is more entertaining than football at the Hebrew College Gala. It's a bold move. I still don't know if baseball is Jewish. Abraham Joshua Heschel said that when he grew up, he didn't play sports. He was a Talmudic prodigy in Eastern Europe, so it's not a surprise. But despite not playing sports, he said his life did not lack for moments of exaltation. And that's what sports can give you. Moments of exaltation surrounded by some moments of grief. My blessing for you, I think, is obvious. Another Cubs World Series victory. But even if the Cubs never win again, a life filled with moments of exaltation. Danny Stein, please. If I can ask Rabbi Jordan Schuster to come put Danny's tallis on. Danny, in preparing to write blessings, I always pull up the email history of the person I'm blessing to see what we've been saying to each other over the last few years. Here are the beginnings of the last 10 emails you've sent me. Hi, Dan, thank you for the class. Hi, Dan, thank you. There was an email last week which the title was simply, thank you. There was a string of emails to our development person I was CC'd on as you stepped up to lead the fundraising initiative in Leah's memory. Of course you did. All the emails expressing some form of appreciation to our development person. Thanks, Dan. There was an email which you are the only person in my entire world who could have possibly written. It was just one short line. Good to know. Thanks, Dan. I'm busy with magic shows all day Tuesday. There was an email to Lorena, which you began with an apology for not being more timely, and then a thank you to Lorena. Super helpful. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Either Hebrew College is the most efficient organization, and I am the most helpful person in the world, or you are extraordinarily gracious and kind. I think we can say the latter. I started to wonder, has Danny ever sent me an email not expressing gratitude? I started scanning the first lines of all the emails we've corresponded. This is the truth. I saw an email from you last summer, and the first line didn't say thank you. I clicked on it. It said, Dan, I imagine a lot of people are coming into town for Leah's funeral, and you were proactively letting me know that if anybody needed room, you have space. And then you thank me at the end. Okay, we get it. You're a good person. There are so many things we could speak to your character, your intelligence, your patience, your responsibility, and above all, your kindness, and how all of these things seem to be so in balance in you. Midrash Tanchuma says, Dechilata Torah gimilut chasadim. Ve'emsa'ita gemilut chasadim, ve'sofa gemilut chasadim. The Torah begins with acts of kindness, its middle is acts of kindness, and it ends with acts of kindness. The beginning, the middle, and the end of Torah is gemilut chasadim, acts of kindness. In other words, Torah is acts of kindness. And by this measure, Danny, you became a rabbi a long time ago, and we all should have spent the last 5 years studying from you. At your closing conversation, you talked about how your parents raised you with a sense of responsibility for menschlichkeit, for acts of kindness. And when you do these acts, you are connected to Hashem and you feel a sense of joy. If only, Danny, we were all animated by this same sense, what a profoundly different world it would be. But because you are animated by that joy, Danny, what a profound difference you will make in it. Ashira Stevens. Rabbi Shana Rhodes, please, if we can ask you to present Ashira with her talis. Ashira, during your closing conversation, you shared that you chose your name Ashira, meaning I will sing, because when you first went to services, you didn't understand the words, but you intuitively understood the music. You also shared that Harvey had taught you that the word Ashira is in the cohortative or volitional form, as of course I knew it was, thus subtly changing the meaning from I will sing, which is a functional description of what will happen in the future, to let me sing, expressing the volitional or desire to sing. And I loved that you raised this at your conversation, because your appreciation for Harvey's biblical grammar was unabashedly, dare I say nerdily, you. I also love this because within your name is so much of your journey. Let me sing. For everyone here on this Bima, school is a journey. It's a long 4, 5, or 6 years with a lot of sacrifice. But I am not sure we have ever had a student who believed from as deep a place in their soul that they were meant to be a rabbi. And they were not going to let anything stop them, no matter how hard the journey was. You told us you used to be scared to sing while leading services, worried about getting the right nusach or the right melody. But now you just sing with trust that what comes out of your mouth is meant to be. You and I, Ashira, have been in a 5-year conversation about a lot of things. One of which is confidence, imposter syndrome, readiness to be a spiritual leader. We recently had a discussion about your new job, which I hope it's okay. I just want to share a piece of it. You expressed your concern that your new congregation was so completely sure that they wanted to hire you, they didn't even need to interview you. Was there something wrong with them? I reminded you that you were their intern. They've heard you speak and teach and pastor for a year. They know you. They don't need to interview you. Ashira, you are ready to sing. I want to say I've seen you be a very powerful rabbi at a very difficult moment. Your hesped at Leah's funeral was absolutely stunning. And I'm remembering that now in this moment. And I have emails from other faculty members, remarking on just how amazing your presence was. I felt then what I already knew to be true, that you're ready to sing. I might have called Harvey for a brief refresher on what the cohortative form meant.
First person volative.
First person volative. That's right, says Harvey, yes. Harvey explained patiently to me that the cohortative, first person volative, is akin to the distinction in English, which is no longer operative, between shall and will. I shall be a rabbi means I want to be a rabbi. I will be a rabbi means I am going to.
Harvey's correcting you. Sorry.
As I was saying. I will be a rabbi means I want to be a rabbi. I apologize. I will be a rabbi means I want to be a rabbi. I shall be a rabbi means very functionally in the future I'm going to be a rabbi. I'm delighted at this moment. It's neither I shall nor I will, but it is the present tense. Ashira, you are a rabbi. Ashir Ladonai, God, let me sing to God, or I will sing to God, or I'm now singing my song of redemption. Last but most certainly not least, Moshe Weber, we're going to ask Jordan to come put on Moshe's tallis, and Rabbi Jane Kanarak to offer Moshe his blessing.
Moshe. In a well-known passage, at least in certain limited circles, as you know I like to say, the Tosefta presents us with the case of a despairing student. Since Beit Shammai declares an object impure, and Beit Hillel declares that very same object to be pure, and one sage permits and another sage forbids, why, the student wonders, should I study Torah at all? The Tosefta responds, all of these contradictory words are the creations of our one God, our shepherd, and our sustainer. We humans, the Tosefta teaches, must imitate God's ability to contain multitudes. Af ata, aseh libcha, chadrei chadarim, v'hichnis ba divrei Beit Shammai v'divrei Beit Hillel, divrei hamit'amin v'divrei hamitaharin. You too make your heart rooms within rooms, and bring into your heart the words of Beit Shammai and the words of Beit Hillel, the words of those who declare impure, and the words of those who declare pure. Moshe, you have a heart of rooms within rooms. You actively choose to live in a world of multiple opinions, one in which you hold dear your own core commitments and hold dear the act of being in relationship with those who act and think differently than you do. You live the life of a progressive and traditionally observant Jew and are the teacher and friend of those who have chosen or are in the process of choosing yet other visions of the committed Jewish life. For the ancients, the heart was the seat of the mind, the intellect. Moshe, you have a prodigious and unpretentious intellect, a mind of many rooms. You wrote this about halakha, Jewish law. These are your words. To use Chaucer, or play by the norms of deconstruction, is to no longer be engaged in halakha, but something else entirely. That is not to say that external discourses or alternative language games do not or have not played a role in the concerns of the halachist or the historical development of halakha. I am not arguing for a version of halakha that would be akin to Soloveitchik's formalism. Halakha is neither a completely autonomous discourse nor ahistorical. Rather, similar to the manner in which strategies from the game of soccer can be deployed effectively in the game of lacrosse, even revolutionizing the game, nevertheless, one must still play the game of lacrosse according to the rules of lacrosse. Moshe, I think I am on safe ground saying that you are the only person who knows how to combine literary and legal theory and the games of soccer and lacrosse in one paragraph to articulate a profound philosophy of halakha. Yet equally significantly, with your intellect, you combine the ancient sense of the heart as intellect and the contemporary sense of the heart as care. You know with clarity that ideas build relationships and relationships build ideas. You model leadership as the act of articulating difficult questions, questions of action and questions of ethics, and then hold us all as we decide what comes next. Moshe, as a rabbi, may you continue to be blessed with a heart of many rooms, and may you help us all learn how to build and dwell within a life and community of rooms upon rooms. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Shana Rhodes and I will now read the Semicha document, the text of ordination. This statement, expressing our trust in you and in your new rabbinate, is from your teachers, as well as on behalf of the people and communities you will serve as rabbis. Let me ask the faculty to stand now. When we come to the last section, Shana will ask everyone to stand as they're able to join us in ordaining you. Let me ask us all to open our hearts. Anu, Morei Beit HaMidrash LaRabbanim Shel HaMichlala HaIvrit, Modi'im Ne'emana Ki Talmideinu Elu, Shechelkam Miyoshvei Beit Midrashenu, Siyemu Et Chok Limudehem. We, the faculty of the Rabbinical School of Hebrew College, give faithful testimony that these students have been devoted participants in our house of learning and have completed the required course of study for rabbinic ordination.
זה כמה שנים שקדו על התורה ועל העבודה ויגעו בהלכה ובאגדה, בנגלה ובנסתר ובהכשרה לעסוק בצורכי ציבור באמונה. בתורת השם חפצם ולא זזו ממנה עד שעשאוה תורתם. During their years here, they have been eager and diligent in the study of Torah, in prayer, and in service, and have studied Jewish thought and Jewish practice, searching for meaning revealed and hidden. The Torah of the Blessed Holy One is their desire, and they have been steadfast in making that Torah their own.
בסוד חברים מקשיבים, עשו אוזנם כאפרכסת, וליבם חדרי חדרים, להיפתח ל70 פניה של תורה, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות, למען קרב את ליבות עדת ישראל, למצוא כל אחד ואחת את נתיב נשמתם בתורה. Amid a circle of listening companions, they have opened heart and ear to the 70 facets of Torah, to study and to teach, to keep and to fulfill, to draw the hearts of Israel near so that each individual might find their own path in Torah.
Please rise. Ve'al Kain, Chacham Yitkaru, V'Rabbi Yitkaru, Umilenu et Yadam Laseit et Misrat HaRabbanut al Shechmam, or Inum Nechonim Umuchanim, La'amod Kol Echad V'Achat Lifnei Ha'edah, Asher Tivchar Bam. V'Kahalei Adatam Aleihem Yismochu, Kasher Samachnu Anu, V'Aleihem Tavo Birkat Tov. Kol Min Dain Smochu Lana. Therefore, they shall each be called rabbi. We have ordained them to take upon themselves the service of the rabbinate. We attest that they are fit and prepared to stand before communities that may rely upon them as we have in ordaining them, and may blessings of goodness come upon them.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, ואמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל. You stand in a long line of idol breakers and risk takers, of name changers and game changers, who crossed rivers and climbed mountains, who met at the well, who stumbled and fell, who questioned and argued, who deceived and rebelled, who laughed and who listened, who spoke and were silent, who loved and grieved and loved again, who wrestled in the night and walked away, bruised and blessed in the morning light. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors bless you who go forth today to respond to the Lech Lecha within your own hearts and souls, to learn and to teach, to protect and to create, to uplift the words of Torah, and to uplift all you serve. Elohei Ruchot L'chol Basar, may the source of the spirits of all flesh help you see the abundant blessings that others have to offer and help you draw them forth. May you be blessed with wholeheartedness so that your work will be life-giving and not drain the life out of you. May you find loving companionship wherever you go. May you know in the deepest places of knowing that you are seen and valued in the eyes of God and in the eyes of those who behold you. Ki v'simcha tetzeu u'v'shalom tuvalun. May you go forth in joy, and may you also know the blessing of returning to this community and to all the places you call home, in wholeness and in peace. And let us say, Amen.